Hey, Louise. Hey, Dandy. Hey, Shucks. Debonair. Sierra. Feeder. Snaggle. J. Dot. Nessa. Churgers. Hey, Shiara. Brooke. Castle Brava. Allosaurus. Chibi. Charlotte. Ashley. Mary. Dandy's jealous that he wasn't first. Hey, Melissa. Hey, Michaela. How's my day? Not too bad. Indeed, Shucks. Every single one of them. Hey, Fernanda. Bus from Chicago to Florida. Ooh, that's it's a long drive. Hey, Ashley. Sierra, of course they're not. They're not ready to do that. They have no interest in actually supporting the kids once they're born. It's not. It's not about protecting children. Like it's never been about actually protecting children at all. They don't care. Republicans don't actually care about kids. They have no interest in actually protecting the children. No, it's about control. Cheese nachos for dinner. Nice. I ordered fish and chips. Yeah, I mean it's control, pure and simple. Like that's all the Republicans are interested in. It is legal in Canada, yes. Moms will love and support their own children. Sure, shit, not going to get any support from Republicans. How the X-Men handle this whole Supreme Court situation? Um, uh, I mean, honestly, the X-Men have a history of like model minority bullshit. They've got a history, like the X-Men have a history of being written along the lines of model minority type of thing. We're like, oh, we don't want to shake the boat. So yeah, the X-Men wouldn't actually do a whole hell of a lot, frankly. Needs to be a serious talk about whether or not. Yep. I mean, John or not Johnson, Thompson, Clarence Thompson, put contraception back on the chopping block. Boomer, that people, I think that bodily autonomy is a human right. What do you mean about Clarence Thompson? Yeah, so or Clarence Thomas, yes, Clarence Thomas put in his opinion, Clarence Thomas mentioned Oswald or Griswold, sorry, Griswold as one of the as another precedent to be reviewed. Hey, yes, sir. And Griswold, of course, is the Supreme Court decision that gave a whole lot of freedom regarding birth control. We've been doomed, yeah. Hard to say, Janine. No, I very much do not, yes, sir. Indeed, mukbangs. It's actually like there are already investigations that happen on occasion when a woman has a miscarriage, and that's going to get even worse. There's going to be a lot of women who will be investigated for having miscarriages in order to determine if they used anything for to bring on the miscarriage. I mean, it's not that easy actually. There's a lot of people who can't cross state borders. There's a lot of people like who have trouble doing that. Beyond that, um, there's states that are they're actually going to make that illegal. If you go across state, like there are states that are going to pass laws that if you have an abortion in another state, you will still be thrown in jail. Going to be rainy day tomorrow. Doesn't matter, Kata. They're already doing it. Hey, piss and vinegar. Pretty much Snagglepuss. And I mean, this is a big deal. And I mean, I don't know all the details of it, Elaine, but those laws are getting put on the books. And here's the thing. So let's say that that's not illegal. Let's say that that's not unconstitutional. Whether something's unconstitutional only matters if the Supreme Court decides that it's unconstitutional. So, let's say Texas puts a law on the books that says that, going to another state for an abortion is illegal, and that when you get back, hey, Ugly Hobo, and that when you get back to Texas, you will be punished as though you'd gone the not really Fairchild. No, the Supreme Court decides. So yeah, let's say Texas passes that law. If you go to another state for an abortion, as soon as you get back in Texas, they are going to throw you in prison. So they pass that law. Somebody gets thrown in prison. They go to, they take it to court. It goes to the Supreme Court. Which means that, like, it's up to the same people, the same 6 assholes who just outlawed abortion are going to be the ones who decide whether Texas is allowed to punish somebody for an out-of-state abortion. So the same assholes who just passed the current decision are going to be the ones who make that who are going to decide whether Texas is allowed to throw people in prison for getting out-of-state abortions. What the fuck do you think they're going to do? Like, of course they're going to do the same thing. Yeah, would that be the same court that just decided that states don't have the right to outlaw concealed carry? That would be the same fucking court that just a few days ago declared that New York not having a concealed carry law is unconstitutional. They're the same ones who just decided, no, every state has to have concealed carry laws. That fucking states' right argument They don't fucking give a shit about state rights. It has nothing to do with state rights. They don't fucking care in the slightest about state rights. What they care about is fucking control. See it they have here's the thing, like New York had, a law regarding concealed carry. State law. And the Supreme Court stepped in and said, no. These types of laws regarding guns, nope. The decisions of the states don't matter here. Every state has to follow this particular set of rules regarding it. And a few days later, they stepped in and said, oh no, every state gets the right to decide whether a woman is allowed to have an abortion. That is actually the plan, Gallet. They are going to go after gay marriage. Like, they're going to go after same sex marriage. Like, absolutely, within the next 5 years. Within the next 5 years, we will see Republican states. No, it's not, Dandy. Within the next 5 years. Clarence Thomas, in his opinion, straight up said that Obergefell, the ruling that legalized same-sex marriage, is back on the table. They are, Elaine. They've been trying for years. Now that they've got a Supreme Court packed, now that the Republicans have packed the Supreme Court with conservative judges, Obergefell's on the table. Lawrence is on the table. Fucking sodomy laws are back on the fucking table. Fuck you, yes, sir. They will within 5 years. Within 5 years. Guarantee. Absolutely 100% guarantee. Within the next 5 years, there will be an effort in at least one Republican state. At least one Republican state is going to pass a bill restricting marriage to one man and one woman. Within 5 years. Absolutely 100% guarantee it. Clarence Thomas has said that he will support that. So in the ruling, in the opinion that Clarence Thomas put out, he has basically said that, as soon as a Republican state does that, as soon as a Republican state passes that bill, as soon as it goes to the Supreme Court, Clarence Thomas is on the side of the Republicans. Like, that's what he's going to, that's what is going to happen. It will go through, yes, sir. Hold on a second. I want to see if there's actually any bills that are already out there yet. I mean, the Texas GOP has declared gay people to be living an abnormal lifestyle choice. What was the shit. I don't remember what state it was, but just a couple months ago. They can likely hobo. They basically can. Which 15 states still have laws against sodomy? Yep, exactly. Thank you, Aunt Janet's Reform School for Fuckheads. Thank you very much. 15 states still have laws against sodomy. And yeah. Which state was it that actually did pass a bill, or at least debated a bill that was going to be was basically going to be like a super marriage bill? Essentially, like I don't remember. It was a couple months ago, so I don't remember the exact details. By the way, for the record, sodomy doesn't just mean ass sex; it also means sex out of wedlock. It means any sex out of wedlock. It means fucking blowjobs. It wasn't Florida now. Something like Ohio or something like that. Is school still safe? I mean, who the fuck knows, J. Dot? Like I said, I don't remember which state it was, but there was one that passed like a super marriage bill. I mean, that was Nikki. That was what the decision, like, that's what those anti-sodomy laws dealt with. I mean, it's coming at it. Like, there's going to be states that are going to outlaw. I'm fuck Texas. Basically, the Texas GOP basically wants to ban transgender people from existing. Amy, yes, it was the battery. What state was it? Tennessee. It was Tennessee back in April. Back in April, Tennessee was at least debating a bill. I'm not sure if it actually passed or not, but they were debating it. That would basically create a separate form of marriage, a legal marriage contract, an alternate pathway to marriage, allowing opposite sex couples to file marriage contracts based on common law principles that have not yet been legally recognized in Tennessee. The contracts would not be available to same-sex couples. Tennessee already wants. Tennessee is already trying to do a workaround. Like, Tennessee's already trying to do a workaround on same-sex marriage. And like, you're sitting there like, oh, it can't happen there. A lot of very serious people didn't think that Roe v. Wade would be repealed. Only thing I agree with you on, but LGBT. Next. Thank you again, Aunt Janet's Reform School for Fuckheads. They can, yes, sir. They can and they will. They're going to. I mean, they're already passing other bills that are going to. They're not, yes, sir. There's a lot of states where any state where the Republicans have the majority, same sex right, in every state, every single state where Republicans currently hold a majority, a legislative majority, queer rights are in danger. Every single Republican state, queer rights are in danger. They are. Every single one of them. Like, it's just, there's no getting around that. Queer, same-sex marriage, hate crime protections, anti-discrimination bills, anti-discrimination laws. So right now, it is technically illegal to fire someone for being gay. Not that it doesn't still happen, but it's illegal to fire someone for being gay. It's illegal to refuse to hire someone for being gay. It's illegal to refuse to rent to somebody being gay. All sorts of things like that. Those rights, those restrictions are going to be pulled back. Those anti-discrimination rights are going to be pulled back. It's an everyone issue, Kelly. Like, it's like they're starting with Roe v. Wade, but it's not going to stop with Roe v. Wade. Sure, Chris, but I mean, fuck it. Give it a few years, and that might become a thing where some places require you to put down your sexual orientation. Well, that's good of North Carolina. Wouldn't have expected that from North Carolina. Like, I wouldn't expect that from either of the Carolinas. So good for them on that one. It will, Nikki. It absolutely will. Like, people want to think, oh, this can't happen in America. It can. All this shit can happen in the US. Chawanda, because it's related to them not following cishet normativity. Vincent, absolutely. Like I said earlier, within 5 years, at least one Republican-controlled state will pass a bill to restrict marriage to one man and one woman. Within 5 years, guaranteed. There's not a single doubt in my mind that it's going to happen. The only reason they haven't been pushing those bills already is because they didn't have control of the Supreme Court. They knew that if it went to the Supreme Court, it would be struck down. So there was no point. But now that the Republicans control the Supreme Court, yeah, absolutely. Every single Republican state is going to start doing it. Yeah, Vanessa, but Planned Parenthood isn't that anymore. All big butts are sexy. Certainly not the greatest country in the world. You just have to look at the statistics to show that it's not the greatest. Far from the worst, but it's certainly not the greatest. It is, frankly, somewhere in the middle. Goes on in Canada as far as abortion gay rights. Abortion's legal here. Gay rights are generally pretty safe. Thing is, Craig, it's not what you want. It's what some of you want, but the majority of Americans consistently support Roe v. Wade. Polls consistently show that the majority of Americans actually wanted Roe v. Wade to stay in effect. Ethan Ralph is likely fleeing to Mexico. Thoughts? Thank you, Dandy. I still know nothing about Ethan Ralph. They do, Nikki. Any poll. Like, if you look up literally any polling on abortion, any of them, they all show the same. They all show that a majority of Americans support abortion being legal. Most people want abortions because the Republicans have stacked the deck. The Republicans, despite the fact that only once since 1988, only once have they actually won the popular vote in a presidential election. Despite that, every time they win, they appoint a conservative justice. They use the even though they don't actually win elections, the Republicans don't actually fucking win presidential elections. They get in on technicalities through the fucking electoral college, and then they stack the deck with conservative judges. Stacking the Senate. Oh, bullshit. The Democrat, the Senate. You fucking kidding me, Slice? The fucking Senate, the Democrats can't get jack shit through the Senate because of the fucking idiotic bullshit filibuster rules means that they can't fucking pass a goddamn fucking thing. Because every time they want to pass something, Republicans just say, nope, we're not letting, nope, you need 60 votes, nope. Stack the Senate. Fuck that. How's the dating life going? It's not. Thing is, Elaine, a filibuster, like originally, a filibuster was something that you actually needed to do something. Originally, a filibuster meant that you had to go up and talk, and talk, and talk, and talk, and talk, and talk. The modern filibuster has nothing in common with the traditional filibuster. Hey, honestly, the modern filibuster is just if you don't have 60 votes, you don't get to do anything. Like the modern filibuster is just a way for the party that lost to just completely, totally block the legislative efforts of the party who won. Yeah, the filibuster is bullshit. If you're on the losing end, you want that? Sure. But the Republicans have abused the filibuster to the point where every single thing requires 60 votes. they can't fucking do a goddamn thing without 60 votes. And the Republicans will not give them those votes on damn near anything. My vote in my state does not count because of the electoral college. Yeah. The electoral college is undemocratic. The electoral college needs to be disbanded. It is an undemocratic institution. Like, it is a shitty ass undemocratic institution. Suler, it's not about the opposition party not voting through the stuff. It's about the fact that the opposition party can just block everything. They can block every single fucking thing. It's the fact that you need 60 fucking votes to do anything. It's the fact that the minority party has an outsized amount of power in the Senate. Beyond that, I mean, the Senate itself is, again, no, the Electoral College has traditionally been the voting process because it was designed to give power to land. The Electoral College, no, what the Electoral College does is it gives more votes to land than people. It means that someone who lives in the middle of bumfuck nowhere has their vote count more than somebody who lives in New York City. That's what the Electoral College does. No, spare. We don't have the Electoral College. The way Canadian elections work is we vote for our local members of parliament. And then whichever party has the most members of parliament, they have the majority, or at least a minority government in some cases. And their leader, the leader of the party with the most seats in parliament, their leader is the prime minister. No, Solar, I'm saying one vote, one person, one vote. That's what I'm saying. That's the Electoral College runs against the concept of one person, one vote. Because as far as the Electoral College is concerned, Suler, I think that if you want to be president of the country, you should get the majority of the fucking votes. If you want to actually lead the country, if you want to be the person in charge of the country, you should have the most votes. The person who gets the most votes be the winner. That's what I think. Republicans win the popular vote. They always fucking lose the popular vote, and yet they get to be the fucking president? How the fuck does that make sense? That the Republicans can just straight up ignore New York City and LA, ignore the biggest cities in the country. Republicans can afford to just get away with not giving a single wet hot shit about the big cities. When Republicans get in office, New Yorkers no longer have a voice, because at that point, Republicans don't care. They do not give a shit about the people in the cities. They don't care. They couldn't care less about those people. They have no interest in listening to what New Yorkers have to say, despite the fact that New York City has a population more than multiple states. Ohio would have a voice. Ohio would have as much of a voice as everyone else. One person, one vote. One person, one vote. That is not the way the Electoral College works. The Electoral College gives more weight to voters in Ohio than it does to voters in California. It does, Pooch. Yeah, California has more Electoral College votes, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, someone in Ohio has their vote count for more than someone in in a city that has a larger population. Yeah, there are cities that have larger populations than entire states, and their votes count, and the people in those cities have their votes count for less because the Electoral College is about protecting land. The Electoral College places a larger emphasis on land than it does on actual people. If there's a situation where, majority vote, if it was actually a one person one vote system, if it was actually a system where the person who got the most votes won, the people running for office would need to actually convince at least 50% of the population. No, Slice. I'm saying that the people in Wyoming would count as much as the people in New York. A person in Wyoming, their vote would count for the exact same as a person in New York. Because it would come down to whose policies are more popular. It would come down to who gets. Yeah, it would come down to people needing to actually compete for every vote. They absolutely are, Christina. I'm just saying that the person from bumfuck nowhere should not have a larger voice than the person from New York. At the end of the day, like, if you get rid of the Electoral College, then what happens is people running for president need to actually convince 50% of the population that they have the better plan. They would need to convince half the population that they have the better plan. But they don't have to right now. As it is, Republicans don't actually need to convince actually need to convince 50% that they have the better plan. They don't need to give a shit about half the population. They just need to give a shit about the right votes. Not necessarily, Hank. If they can convince the majority of the population that, cutting some government program would be the right choice, then they win. But Republicans know they can't convince the population of that. They can't convince. They know their policies aren't popular. They know their policies are unpopular. That's why they rely on the Electoral College. Because they don't actually give a shit what the majority thinks. They just want to get the right votes. And I think that it is absolute fucking horseshit. That No, Suler, no, you are completely, absolutely 100% wrong about what I'm saying. What I am saying is that one person, one fucking vote. One person, one vote. One person, one vote. One person, one vote. That's what I'm saying, Suler. One person, one fucking vote. if they don't, if the person who gets, if the people running for office, if somebody is running for office and they cannot convince half the population that their plan is the right plan, they do not deserve to be elected. If they cannot convince half the population that they have the right plan, then why the fuck do they get to be in office? Why the fuck does the person who has the worst plan get to be the one in office? How the fuck is that fair? How the fuck does that make sense? That the person who is less popular, the person that people like less, gets to be the fucking president. How does that make the least bit of fucking sense? It doesn't make sense because it's not about fucking democracy. It is about fucking land. The Electoral College gives more weight to fucking land than it does to actual fucking people. That was why it was created. Because they don't fucking care about the actual voters. It is a bullshit strategy. Thank you, Lisa. Yes, but like, you're a fucking idiot, Suler. What I'm saying is that if somebody get rid of the Electoral College, and if somebody wants to get elected, they need to convince a majority of the population. That's what I'm saying. They need to get 50% of the vote. That means that someone in Wyoming has exactly the same voting weight as someone from LA. Complete and totally equal weight of votes. It would be the exact same voting weight. Someone in the middle of buttfuck Nebraska would have exactly as much voting weight as someone in Chicago. Exactly the same way. If somebody can't win 50% of the vote, they don't deserve to be in office. If they can't win the majority, they do not deserve to be the leader. Holy shit, Suler. Like, you are just completely fucking ignoring what I'm saying, Suler. Like, you just you're not fucking listening. I'm actually done with you, Suler. You are completely fucking ignoring what I'm saying. So, fuck you. I'm fucking done talking to you about this shit. Tell me why abortion is a human right? Okay, Jose. Did you know that it's actually illegal to force someone to donate organs? You cannot legally force someone to donate an organ. That is considered a human right. Like, the human right, that is a human right. You cannot, even when they're dead, you cannot force someone to donate an organ. I just said it, Suzuki. Human rights say that you cannot force someone to donate an organ even after they're dead. Because you consented, PK. You consented to donate your organs. You cannot forcibly take someone's organs out. That is illegal. That is a violation of human rights. Because bodily autonomy is a human right. Requiring someone to go through a pregnancy is requiring them to donate their organ. The baby isn't. The baby's not an organ. The womb is. A womb is an organ. Yeah, and that's illegal, yes, sir. No. A fetus is a clump of cells. But no, a womb is an organ. A womb is an organ. Sure thing, Dandy. A womb is an organ. Forcing someone to carry a fetus within them, to carry out a pregnancy, is forcing them to donate their organ. Once you Right, but you're still forcing them to donate the organ. You are still dictating to that person. It is still dictating to that person how they can use that organ. So as soon as you tell a woman no, you have to carry that pregnancy, you are at that point giving that woman less bodily autonomy than an actual fucking corpse. You cannot force someone. You cannot dictate to someone how they use their organs. You can't do that. Human rights say you cannot dictate to another person how they use their organs. You can't do that. When you force a woman to be pregnant, you are dictating to that woman, to that person, because they're a non-binary and transmasc. When you require a person, when you force a person to carry out a pregnancy, you are dictating how they can use their organs. It is a violation of their bodily autonomy, which is a violation of their human rights. Only if they outright piss me off, Grip. Birth control isn't 100% effective. And beyond that, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't actually matter how the pregnancy occurs. It doesn't matter if, if it was a 1 in a million accident. It doesn't matter if the woman was being, doesn't matter if the person was being reckless. It actually doesn't matter how the pregnancy comes into effect. It makes no difference. Yes, my mom had that right. My mom had the right, if she had chosen, to get an abortion. If she had chosen, she could have done. Birth control isn't 100% effective. Even if you use the pill and a condom, it's not 100% effective. And Solstice, if you make that comment one more time, I'm gonna block you. Yep. Yeah, I'm just gonna block you, you fucking spamming piece of shit. Christ, you fucking spammer. Yeah, women get pregnant on birth control. It happens because nothing's 100% effective. It would have been, I mean, if she'd made that choice, I wouldn't have been able to have a problem with it because I wouldn't have existed. So The vaccine. Well, as far as the vaccine goes, getting it is something that you do to protect other people. Yeah, that wasn't going to happen, Ashley. Yeah, pretty much, Lucy. If you don't want to get the if you don't want to get the vaccine, fine. Then just stay the fuck out of public. But the point stands. At this point in time, people with wombs have less bodily autonomy than a corpse. That's what the Supreme Court decided. That a person with a womb has less bodily autonomy than an actual fucking corpse. Because a person with a womb, it is now legal to dictate to that person how that organ gets used. By Snagglepuss. I mean, that's like actually it. So that is the actual, like, that's reality. Doesn't matter, can't wake up. Even in the case, even in the case where where an organ would save somebody's life, you cannot take an organ from a dead person who did not previously consent to that organ donation, even if it would save a life. It doesn't actually. It doesn't matter. Of course, some people regret it. Of course, there are some people who regret abortions. There are people who regret pretty much everything. But you don't ban that shit just because of a few people. Yeah, I'm doubtful that Trump will ever go to prison. Scorpion, I initially said in women, but I've been trying to specify people with wombs. Hillary Clinton's an idiot. Biden. Fuck. It is not at all surprising that this happened under Biden. There was no. Uh, that guy was never going to fucking fight for anything. And we knew it from the start. And Biden always fucking. No, Gret, because there are non binary people and there are trans men. Trans men can get pregnant. And there are also AFAB non-binary people who can get pregnant. I mean, I blame Obama for not codifying Roe v. Wade back when he had the White House and the Senate and the Congress. I blame him for that. Someone who is assigned male at birth cannot get pregnant. Someone who is not born with a uterus cannot get pregnant. No, they don't, PK. It Hormones do not always render someone infertile. There are. It is possible for a trans man to get pregnant, even if they, even if they're on hormones. It can happen. Wouldn't imagine that for another couple decades, Ashley. Generally, Sosuke, yeah. In depth looks. I don't know anything about Dark Souls, Jimmy. I'm sorry. So that's not really something that I can really talk about. For now, Angie. Even then, um, there's probably going to be investigations, at least in some cases. Dark Souls. No, Dark Souls is not the type I enjoy. Way too tough. It is way too difficult for me. Sore boobs? I don't yet. Kenshina. Haven't played that. A lot of anti-abortion advocates are also in favor of the death penalty because they don't actually care about life. It has nothing to do with life. It has everything to do with control. Yes, sir. I don't have the skill or patience. Oh, that was like a year and a half ago, Sasha. Yeah, you do, Grep. There are there are plenty of people who've been executed or at least put on death row who have later been acquitted. There are actually a ton of instances of innocent people getting death penalty. Like a lot. Stormy? Oh yeah, I mean, women get attacked for even in you know Western countries. Women pretty regularly get attacked for refusing to go out with guys. Okay. Uh, okay, Janine. Yeah, I mean it's like you don't even need to go to Egypt to find women getting murdered for rejecting guys. It happens everywhere. Jeff the Killer? Never heard of that. Fuck off, Sue. Skara, because people are different. Because there are some trans men who would absolutely hate to get pregnant, who would find that to be a horrifically traumatic experience. There are also trans men who want kids and want kids of their own. People are different. Everyone is different. Pro life, please. What I'm saying, Solar, is that it's reducing human rights. No, you're not, Sosuke. Human rights have taken a hit today. Shut the fuck up, Solar. Fuck, you're just a fucking asshole, Solar. Get the fuck out of here. I don't want to fucking talk to you anymore. You're just a piece of shit. Honestly, like, you're fucking tedious. Get the fuck out of here. It's fucking human rights. Get the fuck out of here, Solar. Tired of your tedious bullshit. I banned H Solar because he was just getting annoying. Guy's fucking incapable of actually listening to anything I fucking say. So fuck that noise. Phantasm? Because bodily autonomy. Bodily autonomy is a human right, and that includes a person's womb. People have autonomy over their organs, including their womb. You cannot force somebody to donate an organ. Therefore, you can't force somebody to carry a child because that is forcing them to, that is controlling their organs. Hey, Altshower Burger. Yeah, easy as that, Sosuke. Just so simple to pick up your entire fucking life and move. Because there's jobs everywhere, and you don't have to. It's not like people have to pay to move. It's not like they need to find another job. It's not like they'd be leaving their entire fucking social circle. Totally easy. Totally easy to just completely fucking move, Sosuke. You fucking idiot. No, it doesn't vinegar. We're not supposed to give a shit about how pregnancy happens. The point stands. You can't control somebody's organs. You cannot dictate to somebody how they use their body. What? And I didn't use the N word. What, because I said vinegar? Yeah. Yeah, abortion for everybody. If somebody wants an abortion, regardless of the reason, regardless of how many they've already had, regardless of any of that, abortion is a human right. If the baby is an adult, then they're no longer inside the person. They're no longer once they're out of the womb, then bodily autonomy doesn't enter into it. Trans women don't have uteruses, so no, they would not be able to get an abortion. Yes, healthcare is a human right, and abortion is healthcare. Correct. Yeah, Margaret Sanger was an asshole. Planned Parenthood still does good work. Fucking kidding, Skyra. People say that shit all the time. Women are the ones who are pretty much always forced to deal with the responsibility. Men regularly get to just step right away from that responsibility if they don't want to deal with it. Fucking cares, ass. It's the potential of the fetus is irrelevant. Good, Irishman. If women are going to be forced to give birth, then yeah, the men probably should be forced to cover it. And even then, there's plenty of guys who don't end up paying child support. Like Chiva Chiva said. Well, one is being forced to give birth. Uh, Going forward, any woman who gets pregnant is going to be forced to give birth. Yes, fuck you. Fucking fascist. Abortion's going to take place. Yep. Yeah, abortions will continue to happen in liberal states, unless, of course, the Republicans manage to get their way and pass the federal abortion ban that they actually do want to pass. Because yeah, that's something. There's a lot of Republicans want to pass a federal abortion ban because they don't actually give a shit about state rights. Fine, you want your fucking Christ. Since you're fucking incapable of since you're fucking incapable of even of bothering to do your own fucking research, fine. There you go. Washington Post article. Oh, that's right. You're not going to like that one. To try Forbes. Oh, you're not going to like that fucking link. No matter what fucking link I put, you're not going to fucking like it. How about this link? Mitch fucking McConnell saying that, like, again, it doesn't matter what link it honestly doesn't matter what fucking site I link to. It will not matter because if it's not fucking if it's not the one that you fucking choose. Because you fucking decided that it's not a fucking thing. So it literally doesn't fucking matter what links I post. You decided. You already came to the conclusion that it's not a thing. So every single link that I can put forward, you're not gonna fucking ignore it. You're gonna fucking ignore it. It doesn't fucking matter. Because you're assholes. You're fucking assholes who don't give a shit about the fucking facts. Fucking truthiness bullshit idiots. You don't fucking care about what link I post. No matter what link I post. Every single link that I could ever possibly post, you'll just be like, oh no, that one doesn't count. Oh no, that one doesn't count. Oh no, that one doesn't count. That one doesn't count. No. Fuck you. Fucking always fucking demanding links, never fucking accepting them when I post them. Fucking pieces of shit. Christ. Opinions aren't facts. Well, there's a fucking article directly fucking quoting Mitch fucking McConnell. Directly fucking quoting Mitch McConnell. That's not a fucking opinion, you fucking asshole. It's not a fucking opinion when they're quoting the fucking assholes. Christ. I mean, holy fucking hell. You just come to this conclusion that, like, oh no, that's not a thing. And then no matter what anyone fucking throws at you, you just decide, no, that doesn't count. Fucking shitbags. Shut the fuck up, can't wake up, you asshole. Fucking jackass. Fuck off. Piece of shit. Doesn't fucking matter, yes, sir. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter what the kid could have fucking been. It is irrelevant. What matters is bodily autonomy. What matters is healthcare is a right and abortion is healthcare. Therefore, by the transitive property, abortion is a human right. That is what fucking matters. That's what fucking matters. Abortion is a religious rights matter. And it's worth noting that it's only recently that religious people even actually started to care about abortion. Did you know abortion isn't actually banned in the Bible? Abortion isn't actually referred to as a sin anywhere in the Bible. Anywhere. There's no there's instructions on how to induce a miscarriage. According to the Bible. But the thing is, according to the Bible, life begins at first breath. Life begins at the first breath. That is what the Bible teaches. And the Bible also instructs on how to induce a miscarriage. Throughout history, abortion has not, throughout human history, abortion's been fine. It's really only in the past few decades, not even the past 100 years, less than 100 years, that abortion has actually became a religious issue. My point, Irishman, is that this idea that this is some deep religious thing, it's not. Basically, no religion ever cared about abortion until evangelicals latched onto it as a political wedge issue. And it wasn't, and I mean, shit, it wasn't even the thing that actually brought Christian evangelicals together, or conservative evangelicals together. That wasn't even the thing that brought them together. Civil rights actually brought the conservative Christians together because they didn't want to be forced to. They didn't want to be forced to treat black people as false. Yes, sir. False, 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 false. Demonstrably false. Known to be false. It is an absolute falsity. The majority supports abortion rights. The majority of Americans support abortion rights. Okay. Good night, piss and vinegar. Here's Reuters, which is just, I'm sure you're not going to take Reuters, even though they are just straight up a journalistic site, even though they just report straight up fucking facts. Here's Pew Research again. Again, you're going to just claim that no, Pew isn't worth. The majority of Americans support abortion rights. They do. But again, like, it doesn't. Honestly, I don't even know why I bothered. You're not going to fucking pay any attention. You're not going to fucking believe it. If it's not fucking Breitbart, you're going to believe that the polls are. If I don't post fucking Breitbart, then that's the only valid fucking link that you assholes will actually buy into. Did Joe Rogan say it? No? Well, then it's not real. Joe Rogan is the only person who's actually speaks truth. If it's not on Joe Rogan, it's not true. Fucking idiots aren't gonna believe. You fucking idiots don't believe anything. Anything. Unless it fits your own fucking conclusions. Preconceived conclusions. Fucking shitbags. What does Ben Shapiro think? That he's a. Who fucking cares? Ben Shapiro's a fucking asshole. Who gives a shit what he thinks on anything? Cut your fucking spam rating. Fuck off. Ben Shapiro's an asshole and an idiot. Where's the evidence? You know what? Do your own fucking research. You're not going to believe anything I post anything anyway. You're not going to believe a single fucking thing that I ever post. So do your own fucking research, because I'm fucking done doing your research. You dishonest fucking jackasses. Do your own goddamn research at this point, because I'm fucking tired of you doing your research for it. I'm fucking tired of doing your research and then you always just, nope, doesn't count. I don't trust that link. Nope, I don't trust that link. I don't trust that link. Nope, 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 nope. If you're not going to trust anything that I post, then you can do your own fucking research, because I'm fucking done with it for you. No, I dislike Shapiro because he's a fucking conservative douchebag. Fuck your bullshit anti-Semitic fucking accusations. You're not banned yet, Irishman. Fuck off with that. I'm fucking banning anyone who accuses me of anti-Semitism from now on. I'm fucking tired of that goddamn meme. I am absolutely fucking done with that meme. Anyone who accuses me of anti-Semitism gets an immediate ban, starting now. Starting right this fucking moment. If you try to pull that fucking line, I'm fucking done with that bullshit. I am banning you, okay? Fuck you. Yeah, because I'm grumpy Irishman, so you never know what might happen. Doesn't have to affect my life personally for me to care, Sasuke. I'm actually like, might be tough for it. I know it's tough for conservatives to do this, but I can give a shit about things that don't affect me personally. I can give a shit about that on behalf of the people who are affected. Conservatives are incapable of doing that. Conservatives are completely incapable of caring about any issue that doesn't affect them directly. But as a liberal, I can actually care. I can actually care about an issue without being directly affected by it. No, I hate conservatives. I think they're assholes. I think every conservative is shitty. If you have to go back 150 years to demonstrate how great Republicans are, then you've got a pretty fucking shitty party. Yeah, that's a totally fucking reasonable thing to say, Stephanie. Not the least bit. Fucking Christ. Transracial isn't a thing. Of course they are, Sherry. Of course they're violent extremists. Gotta justify the upcoming police brutality against them. Because, yeah, the police are going to be beating the shit. The police are about to start beating the shit out of protesters. Uh, going to be arresting them. Oh, and they're going to try to pretend that that the Miranda rights have been completely repealed. Oh yeah, did you hear about that as well? Yeah, Supreme Court ruled that basically if they bullshit easy, the cops are going to abuse people. They're going to attack peaceful protesters. They always do. If they can't find violence, they will start the violence because that's how cops operate. It's how they've operated for years. False, Sosuke. The cops do not serve the public. The police serve property. The police have no actual obligation to protect people. Yeah. Uh, Worth remembering that, like, what was it, like 2 days ago? Supreme Court decision uh, that basically, if cops don't read your Miranda rights, if cops don't tell you your Miranda rights, tough shit. Like, that's as far as like the Supreme Court basically ruled that police can just ignore Miranda rights at this point. No, Stephanie. It's that, as I recall, what happened. As I recall, it's that if police refuse to read someone their Miranda rights, and that person is subsequently, uh, thrown in prison or whatever, then the person can't sue. The person can't sue the police. Yeah, so the person can't actually sue the police for not telling them the Miranda rights, which is basically as good as saying that the police don't actually have to tell someone their Miranda rights. No, you can't. Yes, sir. That was what the ruling declared, that you can't sue police for not telling you your Miranda rights. The Miranda right. It's fucking stupid, Sosuke. And no, what is going to happen? What will absolutely be happening now is police just not telling people their Miranda rights. They're just not going to tell them their Miranda rights. And in fact, police will probably actually tell people that they don't have Miranda rights anymore. They're going to tell people that they have to talk to the police. Police are going to start saying, no, you have to talk to us. We have laws, which only matter as long as the people in authority actually give a shit about those laws. So yeah, it is going to happen where police are going to start telling people, you have to talk to us. They're going to start telling people that their Miranda rights are repealed. So, like it's going to happen. I've never been arrested now. No, Irishman, it wouldn't get them in trouble. It wouldn't get them in trouble. Because here's the thing, laws only matter to the extent that the people who have authority want to care about them. Laws only matter to the extent that the people in power uh, enforce those laws. So you think that it is the case, yes, sir. Laws only matter to the extent that they're actually enforced. If a law isn't enforced, it doesn't exist. Like that's like if the law if the law isn't enforced, it may as well not actually exist. Breaking the law is illegal. If it's not enforced, it may as well not exist. So no, I just see what actual lawyers talk about. I just read what actual lawyers have to say about these things. Lawyers and legal experts and advocates. Not personally, but yeah, the cats have food and water. Yeah, because conservatives care so much about the truth. Fuck that, Suska. I'm not reading a fucking conservative news site. It's going to be pure and total propaganda and lies. No, my name is not Wendy. Duff Bomber? Kinda. Because Roe isn't about just abortion. Roe v. Wade was also about privacy. Like there's like Roe v. Wade is about more than just abortion. It covered a lot of shit in regarding privacy laws. So when Roe v. Wade being overturned actually does affect other people. We never see them, Fairchild, but I would assume that they are regular pony dongs. Don't forget the hyphens, Dino. Don't forget the hyphen in Spider Man. Fuck that, Sosuke. Pet bangs. I do need to get a haircut. I'm wary of going to a hairdresser just because COVID is still going on. I haven't watched any Umbrella Academy. I haven't watched any of it. I've had plenty of people telling me that I would enjoy it, but I don't know. I just never watch it. I'm not an estrogen now. Actually, I don't really want to. It's the same thing, Sasuke. Barber shop or hairdresser, it's the same concern. COVID is still going on. I'm not. I mean, not necessarily casual. COVID is not over. COVID's not over because of the assholes who spent the past 2 years saying that COVID is over. COVID is not over, and it won't be until all the fucking douchebags admit that it's not over and take some fucking actions to stop it, to stop spreading it. Richmond, I got COVID recently. There you go. You're an asshole, Giraffe. You're a shitty person who doesn't give a single fuck about the health and safety of anyone else. Fuck you, Giraffe. Just fucking fuck right off. I mean, I also don't go out, yes, sir. My household stayed COVID free, but everyone else, everyone's got it. Yeah. Yeah, it happens. My dog never got COVID, but I did. And your choice is selfish and douchey, Giraffe. It's an absolute douchebag choice, and you fucking suck as a person. Fuck you. My middle name is not Leon. Last time, last time I was at the store, I put my mask on. I forgot like once. I forgot my mask once. Yes, abortions are okay. Chantel seems to be inconsistent about the mask, and I have talked to her about that. I'm not moving to the US. I'm not moving to a country that doesn't have universal health care. Fuck that. No way. Never. I want my universal health care. So it's okay. Still no. Still going to be a no. Universal health care. I am not living somewhere that does not have universal health care. Sure, Wendy. And it still wouldn't be as good as universal health care. It would not. I'm not living in a country that does not have a single payer healthcare system. It's not happening. Yeah. How privileged that I want to be able to go to the hospital without going fucking bankrupt. The height of privilege right there. Taxpayers pay for everyone's healthcare. That's the ideal. I mean, what do you think happens in your current system? And it's still not going to be as good as a single payer system vintage. That's a shitty question, Sosuke. I'm not even going to fucking dignify that. Cuba? Nah. Nah, I wouldn't move to Cuba. Fuck you, Snake. Yeah, that's not happening, Anna. Everything paid for from Medicare. Government health care. Nah, just Cuba's just not the country, not the kind of country for me. Because he could afford to, Larry. He could afford to skip the queue. That's the thing with the healthcare system in the US. It's great if you can afford it. For most of the population, not so much. Because most people end up having to choose between, most people end up having to choose, at least if they get a serious illness. If somebody gets a serious illness, then they end up having to choose between, they have to choose whether it's worthwhile to go bankrupt to stay alive. Medical bankruptcy is the number one cause of bankruptcy in the US. The wait times usually aren't that bad, Sue. And it's worth noting that you know you will get seen before you die. Beats college debt, so they both suck. Irishman, yeah, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of area places in the US that are similar. Irishman. I mean, shit. I'm pretty sure there are entire US states where it's soon going to be damn near impossible to actually get to a clinic that offers hormones. $400 for the ambulance. Yeah, I think Canada might charge for ambulance rides as well. Actually, thing is, Irishman, wait times can be awful in the U.S. as well, and that's with wait times being kept down artificially. Because that's the thing with the U.S. healthcare system. Wait times are kept artificially low because a lot of people just can't really afford to go. Like a lot of people can't afford to go to the doctor. I mean, it is worth noting the US actually pays more per capita for healthcare than Canada does. US healthcare costs more per capita than it does in Canada and gets fewer and gets poorer results. It gets worse results. It's more expensive for and less effective than it is in Canada. Look up the stats. Like that, it's not hard to find this information. Take a look. Take a look at it. Yeah, look it up, Irishman. It's more per capita, and most healthcare results, not all, but most healthcare measurements. So things like average lifespan. I think things. I think a lot. Cancer survival rate. I don't really remember. Like I think a lot of. I think it might vary among cancer survival rates. Um, yeah, a lot of the certainly infant mortality rates and maternal uh, mortality rates are worse. Angie, universal healthcare. What that means is a single payer healthcare system wherein, yeah, government funded healthcare. It basically means that healthcare is funded by taxpayer money, by tax money. That's what universal healthcare would be, is tax funded healthcare. And to Americans, that's terrifying. Like Americans find that idea just absolutely terrifying. Um, but the reality is, it works. It works. 40% of Ontario's fixed annual program costs go to the healthcare system. Yeah, Phantasm. Because I believe people have the right to get abortion if they choose. I also believe that if they want to have a child, then they deserve every chance for that child to be healthy. Too many treat emergent. That is true. That is true, Sue. But ounce of prevention, right? No mental gymnastics needed here. Actually, Duff, your tax dollars are going to military and police. Pokemon? I don't know. Never heard. Fuck off, Augustina. I still got plenty of years. I've done plenty of years of work, and I had the same opinions when I was working. So fuck off, Augustina. Two of my boys covered as well as myself. They're working. I also covered military. But what happens if you change your job, Angie? Like, just consider, like, let's say the place you're working at uh, ends up going under. It happens to close down. What happens to your healthcare, right? What happens if you decide that, you know, you want to get a job somewhere else? You have to worry about the health benefits at that place. What happens to people who who work at jobs that don't have great medical coverage? Most healthcare systems are private public hybrid systems. Yeah. And a lot of those states are going to end abortion, brown dog. Or actually, what they'll do is they'll illegalize abortion. Abortions will still happen. It's just going to be uh, less safe. What abortion bans do is just make it less safe. It kills women. That's what abortion bans will do. It'll result in dead women. That's sort of the, I mean, Paul, that's kind of the basis of health insurance, whether private or public. People pay into the system because with the expectation that relatively few of those people will use it. Good for you, Augustina. Fucking nonsense, T. Sell my urine? I don't know that there's anybody who pays for urine. I was unaware of the negligence rates. Cancer mortality rates. I was trying to remember off the top of my head. As I recall, like it depends on the type of cancer. Some people do to pass urine drug. Oh yeah, that's true. Seven. Yeah, yeah. A lot of it, like for cancer survival, I think it's. I Hey, Nessa Jen. I know, like for cancer survival, I remember it being largely fairly similar for a lot of the things. For a lot of results, it was generally. I recall it being admittedly like it's been a few years. It's been a few years since I actually looked up the statistics on it, but I did remember it. The results being pretty similar by and large between Canada and the U.S. Um, but the cost actually being quite a bit lower in Canada, or quite a bit. I should say quite a bit higher in the U.S. Uh, the U.S. does really have um, an outsized cost for its healthcare system. It does actually cost a lot. It costs more than it should. Sure, T Rose. There are tons of Canadians who hate the healthcare in Canada. And there are tons of Americans who hate the healthcare in the US. And there's a and honestly, There's a lot of Canadians who hate our healthcare system who would also say that it's a damn sight better than the US. Who would like, you ask them if they want the US healthcare system, they'd be like, oh, fuck no. Not happy about that, Suske. I don't like Justin Trudeau, but really don't fucking like the Conservative Party. Because I didn't want to, Elaine. Hardly, Frex. Irishman, the reason is because it is a for-profit system that you have. US healthcare rates or US healthcare prices are really high because it's for-profit. So there is oh, okay. Okay, Ashwin, sorry. Oh yeah, you're Irish. Um, yeah, US healthcare costs are high because it is a for-profit system, which means that they just charge more because they can get away with it. I don't remember what it's called, but every hospital has like a rate book, like a book that they use to set the costs. There is also that, Brown Dog. That is also a factor in the cost of U.S. healthcare. Um, there is money that goes into medical research for sure, absolutely. But even beyond that, the for-profit nature does make does come into play as well. Like I said, I don't remember what it's called, but every hospital has a book that they use to determine the costs of various procedures and basically everything that takes place in the hospital. Those books aren't actually set by any, like every book sets, like every hospital sets the price themselves. Every hospital chooses its own prices. There's nothing that really, no oversight. There's no real pricing books. That might be what they're called, but there's no real oversight on it. What it means is that two hospitals that are within, a few blocks of each other might have wildly different prices for the same procedures. For, x-rays and CAT scans, like they might cost huge amount in this hospital and then a smaller amount in this hospital. Without really, without there being any real rhyme or reason to it, a lot of times. On a side note, that's also why you'll get hospitals trying to charge $40 for an Advil. Yeah, hard to shut for healthcare when you are in the middle of a heart attack. It's why should people have to shop for healthcare? Like, why should people have to shop around when they're sick? Like, they're already super fucking stressed, and now they need to start checking out Yelp reviews for different hospitals? Oh, like, that's fucking wild. Well, no, Kate Winslet. Like, say you go to the hospital. Like, say you have a heart attack. Um, say you have a heart attack. You're taken to the hospital. They treat you. You're in the hospital for a few days to while you recover, and while you're there, for pain relief, they give you uh, an aspirin, and then they charge $40 for that aspirin. Not really a straw man, Little Brown. It's so now if you have health insurance, then all those stupid prices, that $40 aspirin, the $5 they charge you for the little fucking paper cup that they bring medication in, all those absolute nonsense charges. Insurance companies don't pay those. Insurance companies, because of what they are, they're able to negotiate to get those prices reduced. If you are uninsured or underinsured, then some of the hospitals do. Some of the hospitals actually do charge for those paper cups, or at least they used to. It's possible that was abolished with the AMA, but um, but traditionally, yeah, some hospitals have charged for a little paper cup to bring medication in. Um, but anyway, like I said, so hospitals mark up everything. Hospitals tend to overcharge for most things. Insurance companies negotiate to get so that they pay less. People who are uninsured or underinsured don't really don't know that they can negotiate those charges, dispute those charges. So you say that it hasn't happened in any of the hospitals you've served at. That's great. It's great that it hasn't happened in any of the hospitals you've served at. I mean, obviously, this site is obviously not unbiased, but it has happened. There are hospitals that have done it. Again, not an unbiased site, but it's talking about things that have been known to happen. I don't know whether it's common. I don't know how common it is for hospitals to do that. But there are hospitals that do charge for for paper cups that they bring pills in. And it's fine that you've never heard of it, but I have heard of it. I remember hearing about it 15 years ago. Yeah. I remember hearing about it during the Obamacare debate. I heard plenty about it back then. I saw lots of people talking about that sort of thing. Tons of news articles. Saw tons of news articles back then about that. Again, and I don't know how common it is. But it does happen. It's all anecdotal. Sure. But the point is, it does sometimes happen. Um, that's not gonna work. So much about. Part of the problem is living in Canada. I get a lot of Canadian links, which are obviously going to be about other stuff. Um, problem is still that I get more results, Canadian oriented results. But whatever. The point is that hospitals. The point is that it's pretty common for hospitals to overcharge for things. Um, and it is actually possible to dispute those fees. A lot of people don't realize that they can dispute the fees, which is what the hospitals are banking on. That the people will just pay. But all business, which is an issue when we're talking about healthcare. T. Like it's, I believe that healthcare is a human right. I don't think people should be forced to put in a whole lot of effort into disputing healthcare charges. That's the one's charging me $40 for chilling it. No, never had a Club Penguin account. Healthcare is a privilege. I disagree with it being a privilege. I think that it is a right. Hey, Strawberry. Not everyone. Not everyone. Not everyone is eligible for Medicare or Medicaid. There are people who don't qualify for those programs. And of course, it's worth remembering Republicans want to make it harder to qualify. Hospitals financial assistance. Yeah, hospitals do get. I know that if someone can't pay a medical bill, like if someone goes to the ER, the hospital is required to treat them. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that hospitals get. Do they get reimbursed for? Like if a hospital treats somebody who can't. Yeah, Wendy, I know that. I know that, Mark. I know that much. Hospitals aren't allowed to turn anyone away. They don't. Okay, I was thinking that. I started to say that the reimbursed, but then I was thinking, wait, are they? Because because yeah, they sort of have to eat the cost. Yeah, hospitals have to eat the cost of people who can't. Um, they have to eat the cost of people who can't afford to pay the emergency medical bills, which is also pretty shitty. Yeah. Hospitals shouldn't have to eat the loss. Yeah. Hospitals shouldn't have to eat that cost. They should be reimbursed for it because healthcare should be automatically covered. All healthcare should be automatically covered by taxes. Why are you on the night before I have to go to work in the morning? I don't know. Many households gone under and closed the doors. Yeah. They get to clean the outside and taxes a lot, though. Right. Yeah, I mean, that's another benefit of. Oh, side note. Another benefit of a single payer healthcare system, doctors don't have to spend a lot of time fighting the insurance companies. Uh, was it 40% of a doctor's uh, work time is spent? What is it? What was the. Wait a second. So numbers. So the guy's numbers may or may not be wrong, but this article quotes a doctor who said the claim of the doctor quoted in this article is that doctors spend 2 hours wrestling with health insurance, 2 hours spent on paperwork for every hour spent with a patient. Oh, actually, no. American College of Physicians. Yeah. So, according to American College of Physicians, doctors spend 2 hours on I did. I skimmed through. I read it pretty quickly. Hank Scorpion. So yeah, and I mean, obviously, take the exact numbers with a grain of salt because that does seem a bit off. But yeah, average doctor does 2 hours of administrative desk work for every hour spent engaging with patients, and a fair bit of that time. The insurance filing process comprises about 18% of total healthcare spending. So doctors do spend a lot of time. Uh, doctors spend a lot of their time wrestling with the insurance companies, just trying to get their money. Like they spend a lot of time trying to get their money from the insurance companies. Um, and that's honestly probably fair, Wendy. Surgery probably should be one of those things that is dog. They hire coders to fill out the forms, but then they have to let insurance companies. No insurance company ever actually wants to pay, regardless of like what is being covered. You know, insurance companies are companies. They want to make money. Insurance companies, like, they want to make the most money possible, which means they want to pay out as little money as possible. Um, so it's actually pretty common for those insurance companies to just not pay. Like they'll just not send the money. You know, either they will. And I mean, that's not even. Do not fill it for. Fair enough. But like I don't even mean like I don't even mean like they'll try to reject. I don't even mean that they'll try to reject claims, although that's obviously a big problem. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, it's got an agenda, and take a grain of salt, and take some of the precise claims with a grain of salt. But the overall point stands. Um, will appeal if a carrier doesn't, which takes time and takes money. Like it takes, or at least it takes time to push back to the insurance companies. And I mean, again, this is something that I remember reading about as a problem 20 years ago. I like it's something that's always been a problem. Yeah. Great that and my point, Wendy, is that a denial team wouldn't be needed in a single payer system. Hey Lisa, doctors don't have to wrestle with the insurance companies in a single payer system. They submit the claim, they get the money. Boom. Quick and easy, no hassle. Private insurance companies really should only exist for supplementary coverage. And frankly, even most of that shit should be covered by healthcare. I do not like the fact that dental and uh, optical are not covered by OHIP. Like, I really don't like the fact that OHIP does not cover dental and visual. And like, there's a lot of medication that doesn't get covered by it. Yeah, Janine, it's I seem to recall that as the thing back in the 90s. That was the 90s, right? That she argued for a single payer system, if I'm not mistaken. Those are usually covered by yeah, I was a kid at the time. Um, yeah, so most most employer coverage, like most employer based healthcare coverage, will include some dental, some visual. Not even out, and even then, they won't cover all of it. I mean, I don't need glasses, Angela, so I'm not getting glasses for free. And I mean, I had dental coverage when I was at Rogers. I had dental coverage, which I never actually took advantage of because I'm an idiot. Dental is expensive, but even when I had dental coverage through my employer, I thought this should be covered through OHIP. It's not about me wanting things for free. It's about me believing what is best for people. Wondering what the U.S. emergency wait times are like. I mean, I would imagine it depends on where you are and what's happening in the area. Yep, abortion is healthcare. Yep, definitely happens, Brand Dog. But I mean, an ounce of prevention, right? It's better to. It is better for someone to go to the doctor when it's not an emergency if it prevents it from becoming an emergency. Yeah, yeah, especially at this point. Yeah, I mean, after after the Affordable Care Act got passed, at that point, Democrats just gave up on trying to make any other changes to the healthcare system. As far as they're concerned, the healthcare system as it sits is, you know, fine and dandy. And Republicans want to repeal the Affordable Care Act and bring it back to when it was even to when healthcare was even shittier. That does happen, Irishman, for sure. It sucks. Like, there's definitely there's definitely times where you'll try to go in for preventative medicine, and it just ends up being pushed back until it becomes emergency, actual emergency medicine. The ACA did improve things a little bit. Um, See how you feel in a week, dies. Like there were definitely like the Affordable Care Act definitely did make some improvements for sure. Uh, it did get coverage to more people. It did remove certain loopholes that allowed insurance companies to just not cover people, um, like to not fund people or like to not fund it. Um, that's kind of my problem, Lisa, is that it was still based on private insurance, which I is not ideal. It's not the ideal way to do it. Increase insurance costs. Right, because they were going a lot of it was because they were preventing insurance companies from just refusing to pay for things. Like it closed a lot of the pre-existing condition loopholes that the insurance companies would use to just like refuse to pay out. Um, as I recall, it ended the it lifted the cap on annual and lifetime limits. I'm sure they don't get that way by paying for your healthcare. Like I said, that's like every insurance company. Um, that is, in fact, their legal obligation, Janine. They're actually legally corporation as I understand, corporations in the US are legally obligated to maximize profits for their shareholders, which means that legally speaking, insurance companies are legally required to pay as little as possible. Yeah, Wendy, I assume like I've always assumed that the vast majority of doctors and nurses and people working in the healthcare field are, you know, doing it because they want to help people, because they want to keep people alive. Like the majority of people working in that field work in the field because they want to keep people alive. That's what they want to do. But the system is designed to make their jobs harder. No, I don't believe in God. Yeah, Janine. And I mean, of course they love the money. Medical school is fucking expensive. It costs a lot of money to become a doctor. So of course they want the money. Shit happens in the U.S. as well. Yes, sir. People die before getting seen in the U.S. as well. Exactly, Vader. Met nicer EMTs than some doctors. Most nurses are great too. Yeah. Some insurance carriers make billing a nightmare. Yeah, and like the fact that there's so many insurance carriers is sort of a headache as well, right? Like the fact that you have to go through like deal with just so many is just a pain in the ass, right? Because I think I'm pretty sure I've read that too, like just from a provider nurse fatigue. Yeah, yeah, that I think is a global phenomenon. So yeah, like it's just the system doesn't actually benefit. The system doesn't actually benefit uh, the people working in the healthcare field. It makes it harder for them to do their job. They have to spend more time. They have to spend more time on paperwork, which takes away the time they spend actually helping people. To have more people covered than not helps. Yeah, yeah. It's a shitty system. It's why I'm. It's why I. Right, but sure, dog. But wouldn't it be nice if you didn't have to pay people to deal with that shit? If you could instead spend that money on things that help the patients? Like, wouldn't it be nice if you could actually spend that money on things that actually help your patients? So, single payer works. Universal healthcare works. It works everywhere. US is the only developed country that is under the impression that universal healthcare doesn't work. Every other developed country does it and it works for us. It's not perfect, but the US is really good at letting the perfect be the enemy of the good. Like most Americans can recognize a when a particular system just kind of sucks. Yeah, most of them can admit that the US healthcare system isn't great. Most of them can admit that the US healthcare system kind of sucks. Um, they can admit that the justice system kind of sucks. They can admit that the electoral system kind of sucks. They can admit that the systems suck. But when people suggest ways to improve it, when people suggest ways to improve these things, the solutions aren't perfect. So they get opposed. There's a real I agree, Action. The justice system sucks everywhere. Um, billing companies that are dictating. Well, yeah. Shut the fuck up, Scorpion. I mean, you like choice. So I know, I don't know, possibly a comic crossover, something like that. So the choice thing. Um, I argue that it's not really that, you're not really that being denied choices that much in a universal system. Yeah, like I said, yeah, what I was getting at is that even when Americans can recognize that there's a problem, they balk at the solutions because those solutions aren't perfect. They let the perfect be the enemy of the good. No, someone that's because I'm an idiot. Perfect is a concept that doesn't exist. Right. Nothing like there's never going to be a perfect solution. But no, I refuse to get healthcare because I'm just an idiot. Yep. I am fully willing to acknowledge that. I do not deny it. And I take responsibility for my being an idiot. What you mean? I mean, it varies. Um, I will say it's really, really hard getting a family doctor. Um, I've been on a waiting list to get a family doctor for pretty close to a year now. Um, so it, yeah, it's less than ideal for that. Um, well, I can get. I mean, there are clinics, like there are walk-in clinics that I can go to. My family doctor just closed her practice, and I start the nightmare of the waiting list. Yeah, I mean, I can go to a walk-in clinic anytime. There's absolutely, honestly, Irishman, that's probably what's going on. Is I'm just waiting for people to die to move up the list. Um, Browns emergency care. Yeah. If I need emergency care, there are emergency rooms. Yeah, I mean, I can go to a walk-in clinic. It's and get a and see a doctor. Probably take a few, depending on when I get there. Um, Depends, brown dog. I think the clinics are open on weekends as well. Obviously, if I get sick after hours, then I have no choice but to go to an ER. Um, Generally, like if you're going to a walk-in clinic, depending on the time, hey, Emeralds guys, depending on what time you get there, it's probably going to be a couple hours to wait. It's probably going to be a couple hours that you're waiting. That's my feeling as well, Angie. Honestly, Angie, that is why I'm not on. That's actually why I'm not on an antidepressant right now. I want the continuity of care for any medication I'm on, for any medication, because I want someone. I don't want to have to explain every time what medication has already been tried. I don't know, Dino. Paramount Plus. So on the flip side, I don't actually like. Is it that much better in the US as far as getting a family doctor? Like I'd imagine it's, depending on where you live, there's probably wait times to get family doctors in a lot of US cities as well. Um, you have to go to the thing with what good plan? Well, they'll have the records, but I mean it's a different doctor every time. Like it's still something where each time you go, the doctor is going to ask you to explain. Um, 3 months for camp specialist. Yeah, I mean for that, it's that's not what I wanted. I don't think that's all right. All right, I'd have to do a. I'd have to figure out how to optimize the search to get the answer. Um, had the same doctor for 26 years, never had. For sure, Angie, and that's something that definitely needs to be. That is one thing that needs to be improved. Is we do need more. We do need more family doctors. Um, it's hard. Um, and the fact is, the fact Ontario's had a conservative government for the past few years, and that hasn't helped. But even before that, it wasn't great. It's always been a problem. But on the whole, I would say that on the whole, yes, wait times kind of suck here. Yes, at least in Ontario, it's damn near impossible to get a family doctor right now. Um, even with that, I don't think that the Canadian healthcare system is actually in all that bad a state. We can get seen. Like I said, Talksty, I mean, I can go to a walk-in clinic. It'd be the reason I don't want to is just because it feels like a pain in the ass having to see a different doctor every time. There's nothing. Yeah. 'Cause, 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 Yeah, we don't really have family doctors available. They can, Janine. Up here, they can. I've gotten prescriptions for. I think I once got one for like a. I think I once got like a 12-month prescription. Like I'm pretty sure I did get a 12-month prescription on one of my medications. 3 months is the norm. I think so. I think 3 months is generally the norm, but I'm pretty sure they can actually do longer. Yeah, like I said, OHIP needs OHIP needs to get better. It's not going to as long as Doug Ford is premier. But like I, there's just it's just not going to happen. OHIP is not going to improve as long as Doug Ford is still the premier, which sucks. Thumbs up. Um, I generally need to follow. Like I would be following up with whoever I see at the clinic. Free therapy? No, no. Mental health is another thing that's not covered by OHIP. Financial assistance for mental health? Not that I am aware of. Playing his own teams. I mean, that's gonna be the fucking future at this point. GoFundMe is basically GoFundMe is basically uh, the health insurance system for a lot of people these days. So yeah, it's gonna be it. We're gonna hit a day where you know AIDS treatment brought to you by fucking McDonald's. Child bipolar history. Okay, why mental health? Um, I mean it's because people have McDoctors. Yeah, I mean I'm pretty sure it's just because of stigma surrounding mental health is what it comes down to. There's always been this belief that mental illness isn't a real illness. You know, mental illness isn't like polio or a disease that still exists. Yeah, it is changing. It is changing, and there is a greater push for mental health to be covered. Again, I don't know how likely it is that OHIP will expand to cover mental health while Doug Ford is premier. I don't know how I. It's tough to tell. Like it's tough to tell whether the conservatives will be willing to do that. I mean, they could surprise me on that, saying that people should stop blaming everything on their mental health. These meditations or talks from people I trust in the mental health field. BC is not a mental health friendly platform. No, it never has been, and truthfully, it never actually will be. But the conservatives are sometimes willing to do things that they don't necessarily believe because of significant enough public pressure. It does happen. Uh, not too often, but occasionally. Occasionally, conservatives will actually increase investing. They will invest in services that they haven't necessarily supported just because of a significant amount of public pressure. And there is growing public pressure to cover mental health issues, to cover mental illness. So I honestly can't predict. Like, I genuinely cannot predict whether the conservatives will expand OHIP in that way. I feel like conservatives generally prefer to restrict OHIP and other public services. Um, I am not yet, Cheryl. So, like, it's yeah, Republic. I think the conservatives would rather try to increase the privatization of OHIP. I think that would be, if they stay in power long enough, they'll start to move that direction. I don't think they've really done anything in that direction so far. Just because, in fact, OHIP is very popular. Uh, for all the criticism of it, OHIP is a very popular program. What political party? None. I mean, because I observe Brown Dog. Conservatives are all about privatization. Um, Pretty much every country, they think that privatization is the ideal. Um, my birthday was in February, Carla. What about health illness? What about it? It's not just Twitter. Regardless, like I said, I suspect that long term, if the conservatives remain in power in Ontario, long term, I think that they will make a push towards privatization. I don't think they've really done much in that direction yet, but that does tend to be the way the conservatives go. Uh, I mean, it's, you know, they've done it in the past. The Harper government also um, sort of made moves in that direction. So it's long term. I think that's what they would do. But in the short term, it's possible they may actually expand. It's possible that they will expand OHIP to cover mental illness. Or they may not. I honestly can't predict that. I honestly don't know which way it'll go. Who I voted for? I voted NDP. I tend to vote NDP just because don't like. I don't really like the liberals. They're not far left enough for me. I am far. I'm to the left of the NDP realistically. Um, so the NDP is tends to be my the party I settle for. But yeah, so that's who I voted for in the provincial election. I vote Green. Sure. My thoughts on the Green Party is sure. I mean, nobody really. Honestly, Wendy, I'm surprised that anyone ever thought that he would. Like, I'm honestly surprised that anyone actually thought Biden would do anything. I mean, it was obvious all along that he wouldn't. He is the very embodiment of the establishment. He's an establishment politician in the worst sense. He's a centrist. He sort of wants to keep things as they are. Absolutely. Definitely better than Trump, but a monkey with diarrhea would have been better than Trump. He has dementia. Hard to say. Yep, I do remember that, Carla. I do think that whichever way, like regardless of which way the midterms go this year, I think that it would be in the Democratic Party's best interest and in the country's best interest if Biden resigned. Like, I do think that Biden should step down as president. As our stock market tends to be pretty stable. Inflation isn't as bad in Canada as it is in the US, but it's not great. Inflation is definitely a problem here in Canada as well. For sure. Honestly, not sure I'd want Kamala in office either. Um, yeah, I mean Trump was always an idiot and a scam artist, and probably probably in bed with the mob. You know, there's no solid proof. Like, there's no solid proof that Trump was involved with the mob, but there is some pretty solid circumstantial evidence to hint towards it. So he was probably obviously this whatever source I quote is going to be uh, is going to be biased, obviously. Um, I had no. Apparently, there was actually a documentary about it. I had no idea. Anyway, so like I said, any source on this is going to be biased. Obviously, grain of salt. Um, there's no salt. Like I said, there's no actual definitive proof, but there is circumstantial. Most of the politicians that are mobbed up are Democrats. Fair number. You're not wrong there, dog. There's a fair number of Democrats with mob ties as well. What do I think of Jack Meat? Yeah, he seems okay. Jack Meat seems pretty okay. So yeah, that Esquire article. Obviously, take it with a grain of salt. Take it, however, I think libs and conservative both in bed with, believe it, disbelieve it, whatever. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Probably. He was probably in bed with the mob. But beyond that, he's an idiot and a scamster. Always has been. He's always been an idiot, a narcissist, uh, a compulsive liar, and a scamster. Formatting in the circle. Formatting seemed okay when I opened it, but still remember Donald Trump tried to get into mortgages right before the 2008 stock market crash. Doesn't work on Fire? Huh. Weird. Firefox is what I use. Huh. All right. Good night, Janine. It's always been pretty long, but it's definitely been getting longer. Yeah. His university was an absolute scam. Like just complete and total scam. As in taken to fucking court kind of scam. Let's not forget Trump Air, Trump Steaks. Damn near everything that Trump did failed. Anything that Trump was actually like directly involved in, like that's also, he lost money running a casino. He lost money running a casino, owning a casino. Even that was a failure because I'm pretty sure he didn't even want to win, Irishman. I'm pretty sure he didn't actually even didn't want to win. But Trump has an awful lot of failures, Brown Dog. All about the name, yeah. That's the only source of his success is his name. He successfully made a career out of convincing people that he's rich. Filed for bankruptcy repeatedly. He filed for multiple personal bankruptcies, and a a lot of his businesses filed for bankruptcies. Like several of his hotels filed for bankruptcies. There was, I think there were at least two of his businesses where after they filed for bankruptcy, one of the conditions for the bankruptcy was that Trump no longer be directly involved in the running of those businesses. Like the only way the banks were willing to give his businesses money was if he wasn't fucking involved. Was if he got the fuck out of the way. And then eventually banks just stopped giving him money entirely. And hell, the only reason The Apprentice got made was because of a writer's strike. Yes, Obama does have a lot of money. What makes you think I'm a fan of Obama? Jenkins too much. Yeah. Apprentice was very much fake. Right. I mean, like I said, I mean it's circumstantial. It's circumstantial evidence, Irishman. But even so, I'm inclined to think that yeah, probably in bed with the mob. Anyway, I do think that there should be a maximum wage. Maybe like 250 million. You know, $250 million. Because, like, Trump doesn't say that no money. Of course not. Probably. That's probably a fair point, Irishman. Unless he's just that bad a businessman. Well, here would be my question, Brown Dog. Why does anyone need more than $250 million? What are you going to do with money about that? Like, at that point, what are you going to do with any more money at that point? Shit. Like, that's already more money than anyone will ever need to survive. Once you're making more money than that, what the fuck else do you need? Why do you need more than that? Why does anyone need more money than that? Let them, like, at that point, the money can just start getting reinvested back into the business. Self-proclaimed billionaire, Tard Wars. Trump is a self-proclaimed billionaire. I do not actually believe for a second that Trump is a billionaire. I suspect Trump is worth maybe $500 million, tops. Probably even less. I do not believe for a second that Trump is a billionaire. The reason I don't believe it is because he refused to release his tax returns. The fact that Trump refused to release his tax returns is what makes me firmly believe that he's not a billionaire. Because Trump fucking loves gloating about how much money he has. If he could prove how much money he had, he would. if he could, if his tax returns showed that, he's worth $5 billion, he would absolutely release a tax return and be like, look, I'm worth $5 billion. I'm that rich. I'm a fucking multi-billionaire. I'm worth $5 billion goddamn dollars, bitches. He refused. And I feel like the only reason, but it's customary for presidential candidates to release their tax returns to show where they get their money from and to show any potential conflicts of interest and blah blah blah. Irishman. Trump is also the kind of guy who would gloat about not paying taxes. He would gloat about that. I know it's not a fucking requirement, little brown dog, but it's customary. And when somebody refuses to release their tax returns, it's fair to ask why. If someone is hiding something, it's fair to ask, why are you hiding that? What are you hiding? That is a fair question to ask. And I firmly believe that the reason Trump refused to release his tax returns, even though he said he would, by the way, he said he would. He never did. He said he would. The reason I genuinely believe, firmly believe, the reason he didn't is because he didn't want people to know that he's not actually worth $1 billion. Exactly, Quarter. So yeah, he did not want people to know that he's not worth $1 billion because his entire bye, Tammy. His entire persona is based on how much money he has. That's that was what he ran. That was what he ran on. That makes up literally his entire public persona. His entire persona is, I have money. Look how rich I am. So, yeah. I don't think he has as much money as he claims to have. He's a liar. So he claims wars. But that's assuming that he's not overvaluating. Anyway, I'm actually gonna get off the stream now. I'm actually gonna end the stream now. I have to go poop. So I'm gonna end the stream here. So thanks for watching. And I'll be back tomorrow for more Boyfriend Dungeon. So join me for Boyfriend Dungeon tomorrow. Please. And have a nice night.